7:08, 9:08.
John Cass, Jake Hartford in for Bruce and Dan on 89 WLS.
Yep, they're in for Don and Wade and Roma for the foreseeable future. And again, reminder for those people who wish to send Don a get well wish. He's going to undergo surgery Thursday. It's getwelldon@gmail.com, and you can also go to the WLSAM.com website and get information there.
And we all wish Don the best, because we need him.
Anyway, one of the big stories this morning in the newspaper, and we kind of touched on this for about 10 seconds yesterday, is Wi-Fi in Chicago, free Wi-Fi in Chicago. Millennium Park, I didn't realize Millennium Park now has free Wi-Fi, which means, I guess, if you have an iPad or a laptop, you can just drive down Columbus Park and hook into the city's Wi-Fi there for free.
I guess. And then what about all your, what's the security issues with all your passwords? People will be putting passwords on, and I don't know.
That's a whole other issue, but you should.
Right. But when they say free, Jake, is there anything that's free? When I hear free this or free that, what does that mean? Ultimately,
you were such a cynic.
No, I'm not. It's called realist.
The plan this morning, this extensive plan, is really an old plan that the former Mayor Daley had about 5 years ago.
Yes,
of bringing Wi-Fi to the city, with the idea that if the city had its own Wi-Fi, they can compete with cable, DSL, and cell phone-based wireless service and drive the cost down. That was the plan, and it just kind of didn't go anywhere. And Mayor Emanuel now wants to have 15 corridors of Chicago, different areas. Ravenswood corridor down by the Illinois Medical District, the IIT corridor, University of Illinois Chicago area, Roosevelt, and a whole other different areas, River North and whatever. And what they would do, they're going to take, the city's in the process right now of doing sewers and everything, and tearing up the streets. And the mayor's idea is, as long as they're tearing up the streets, we can have some companies come in that are involved with this and put in their cables, the fiber optics, and it won't cost them as much because the streets are open anyway.
And they did that in the L system about, 7 years ago? They started laying a lot of fiber optic cable. There's all sorts of contracts to be had. There's all sorts of beaks to get wet. Let me read you a line from the Tribune.
You and your beaks.
Let me read you a line from the Tribune, Mr. Jake Hartford, who does not believe in the tooth fairy. Here's the quote. The city believes the availability of broadband networks will give... This is as vital as clean drinking water, at least to the economic life of the city, said John Tavola, the city's chief technology officer. But then there's this other line. But apparently, it will be up to private sector players, universities, and other groups to do the work and foot much of the bill. So when you say free...
Well, that's social justice.
You sound like Barack Obama. Are you going to reach into my pocket and redistribute some of that Wi-Fi?
Yes, I am. We're going to make it available to the masses.
Right. Why Joe the plumber?
Yeah, why should rich people like you just have access to Wi-Fi?
Like because the elite should control the information flow?
Hey, the poor people like to go on the internet and look at porn too,
47%. Mitt Romney.
It's very ambitious. I don't know if I would go along with the idea that access to Wi-Fi is just as important as clean water. I
think cops are pretty important,
and good teachers,
being able to walk down the street and not get shot if you're like a kid. If you're doing your homework on your front porch as a kid,
and your garbage getting picked up, that's in there too somewhere.
Yeah, but the Wi-Fi is so hipster, let's have for the the people, the little bike people that ride those little bikes around. This is part of that. It's all it's nice.
You know what how I feel about this, and you don't care, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
I want to hear what you have to say because you believe in Wi-Fi.
It's like you buy a printer for your computer, The printers are cheap.
Exactly.
And where do they get you? They get you on the ink.
Exactly.
Okay? It's like the cell phones.
Right.
They give the cell phone away.
It's nothing.
They get you on all the different apps and the time that the kids are watching the TV and the music. And
all their sports videos.
You know how much productivity is lost by the youth working in different places, and instead of working, they're on their cell phones doing stuff, either texting or playing Angry Birds or whatever.
Or how about when
I was a kid, when we played Angry Birds, we had real birds.
And we used to throw rocks at them.
Yeah.
That's the way to play.
Sam in the car. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, gentlemen. Just looked on the radio, heard you guys chatting about my favorite subject, because one of the things I do is I do technology, and I do work with the best, I won't mention names, but I do work with a really, really good Wi-Fi technology company. And we have a solution that would fit not only the city for what they're trying to achieve, but the state with what they're trying to achieve, because there's also the Illinois Gigabit Communities Challenge. They're trying to figure out how to get broadband and internet into rural locations. And I have sent proposals to the state, and I have tried to contact John Tolva at City Hall. No response. And I have the solutions proven around the world. I mean, we have installations in China and India. We did the London Olympics.
Sam, have you hired Mike Madigan for your lawyer?
He's my uncle.
Okay, well then, no problem.
Apparently, Mike Madigan is not the technology clout.
No, that's not the guy.
There's somebody else that's the clout.
That's not him. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye.
It's nice to hear from Sam when he's happy.
Well, he wants to make some money. He wants to put his beak in the water. Is that how you put it? Beak in the water. We'll get back to your calls. 591-8900. It's 9:15. Time for traffic right here on 89 WLS. 9:16. Jake Hartford and John Cass back. We're talking about Wi-Fi for everybody.
Yeah, that means, but of course, what is it? Who's going to pay for it, Jake? Because when I hear governments say we're going to have free stuff, I always wonder, what does that mean, free? Just shake the rock?
They'll work a deal out. They'll get a good...
When Rahm Emanuel dances around in a circle in the firelight and gold coins fall from his pocket and we pay for all this free Wi-Fi? How does it work?
I saw a quote from somebody yesterday. I forget where I saw it, who said it, but they were in a restaurant, and they were surprised that not one person in the restaurant was checking their phones.
Or taking pictures of their meal. What is that? Have you noticed that? People take pictures of their meal and then they
Who would do
send
that?
it to you. What is that about?
Who would do that? 591-8900. Jim in Chicago. Hey, Jim, you're on 89 WLS.
Hey, guys. Thanks for filling in. I got two things. New York is already doing the Wi-Fi, but what they're doing is they're taking the old phone booths that nobody uses anymore, and they're hooking up the Wi-Fi to that. So there's no reason to dig the streets out. We've already got so much wiring going through the city that isn't even being used. And the second thing is Mayor Daley's kid got the contract, or had a big piece of the contract at O'Hare, when that was supposed to be free at the beginning. Now he gets the residuals off of that, and whatever, the $12.95 or whatever they charge for the half an hour before your flight. So,
how could they charge $12.95 for a short period of time like that?
I don't know. They got a captive audience.
Isn't it always interesting, Jim, that somebody is right behind the push to help everyone?
Well, no, and that's the question, is who's behind? Who's going to, I think that Ron's kids are too young to be on all these contracts, but somebody is.
They're in elementary school, most
so who's he filtering it through?
In the San Francisco airport, they have a yoga room. Do we have a yoga room at O'Hare?
No, I think we need a shower out there.
You need a shot and a beer and a cigarette room at O'Hare. Okay? Why don't we have that?
I think they already
I'd like
have
to have that one.
Except for the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chip. I think you can drink early in the morning at O'Hare. I've seen it.
Yeah. But, I mean, when you're really nervous, you should have a smoke and a cigarette and a beer and a cup of coffee.
You can
the Tribune Sports section. What else do you need?
You can step out.
Breakfast of Champions.
If you're waiting at the gate for your flight, you can step out the door outside and get a cigarette. They'll just have to shut down the airport after you do that. And they're going to be yelling at you for a long time.
Drag you away.
Yeah.
And call you a fool for paying higher taxes.
Yeah. But Wi-Fi is...
Hey, I like Wi-Fi, I guess.
10 years ago, did we know what Wi-Fi was 10 years ago?
Here's the question. At work, if you walk in any office, do you think people are actually doing their work? Or are they like on Amazon.com or on Facebook? Or what are people really doing at work? They're on their computers, surfing the net, listening to Jake and John right now, I bet.
Oh, that's okay.
That's good.
But because you can listen and work, you can multitask there. But that's what I said before about the productivity is going down because that people are just addicted to this stuff now.
Instead of Wi-Fi, they should just have a guy with, like on Ben-Hur, the guy that was hitting the drums like bum, 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 faster.
Mike in Lombard. Hey, Mike.
Good morning.
Good
Mikey,
morning.
what's up, Mikey?
Hey, how are you guys? Listen, it's another prime example of public money driving out private money, and exactly where do all these people that work for the networks now going to go work once the city has driven them out using taxpayer money? I mean, where does it end? I've been in the payphone business for 25 years, and now they give out free cell phones, and they take them and they stand by the payphones, and they go, here, pay me. I mean, exactly where does this end? They're driving out all private enterprise. We can't compete with that public money.
Well, the other thing, too, is if you're a customer, I don't think you're going to want to have to pay for your computer internet access if you can get it for free, if other people are getting it for free
so Jim,
in some neighborhoods.
So Mike's right. Is this the government and their subcontractor friends cutting out other companies? I don't know.
Thank you, Mike. And that's what I said earlier. The original, there he is. He's playing Angry Birds now while I'm talking.
I got a friend of mine calling me, and I didn't press the sound.
But as I said at the beginning, this is what the original Mayor Daley said. Not the original, the second Mayor Daley said when they started this 5 years ago.
Short shanks or not so long?
They wanted to have competition with DSL, wireless, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. 921, back after this on 89 WLS.
89 WLS. This WLS.
928, John Cass, Jake Hartford in for Bruce and Dan for the foreseeable future.
And just before we go on, we were talking about Wi-Fi. And I found a story of a few years, last year in the Sun-Times. For years, City Hall maintained that Mayor Richard M. Daley's son, Patrick, had no financial stake in the deal that brought wireless internet service to city-owned O'Hare. But it turns out the younger Daley still reaped a windfall of $708,000 when a company was sold in 2006, less than a year after the company signed a multi-million-dollar Wi-Fi contract with his father's administration.
Well, that's not much of a stake.
What I'm trying to tell you is, when people say free and let's serve the disadvantaged and all the rest, and this is Chicago, they think we're Chumbalones. This is Chumbalone Nation.
Well, somebody has to make money. We're not communists after all.
Oh, I just said I did the wet the beak thing, and you're Barzini, Don Jake Barzini over here. Of course, a man can charge for his services. We are not communists.
That's right.
Right?
That's exactly.
Jake Barzini, thank you.
As first tipped off here last week, the kids of the United States, the youth, are rebelling. We're going to tell you what they're rebelling. It's spreading around the whole country now. We'll